Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. Hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, clap along if you know that happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Woo! Welcome to Monday Motivational Moments with Marisa. This is your life, own it, and I'm so excited to be with you here today. Our focus is as featured in Own It, the It's Your Life, Own It show is focused on self-awareness, self-love. How are we treating ourselves? How are we loving on ourselves? And how are we maintaining focus on making sure that we ensure our lives are happy, whole, healthy, and all that good stuff. So today I want to really focus. I want to take the show and focus on, um, are we a victim or a victor? Where's our mindset at? So often we see so much going on with social media, competing, comparing ourselves to other folks. And sometimes that gets us in a victim's mindset. And so what I want to do is just share with you how do you go from that victim mentality? How do you handle all of the competition that's out there? Whether you are consciously competing with someone or subconsciously competing with someone or just competing with the world, how do you regulate? How do you pull that back in and maintain that victor's mentality instead of becoming a victim? And what's associated with having a victim's mentality? Low self-esteem. You don't feel good about yourself. And so when you get into that place, in that funky place, anything that you have set out to do for the year, any kind of goals you have set, you're wondering why you don't have the momentum, why you don't have the tenacity, why don't you have the drive or the motivation to do it? Well, because you've gotten yourself into a victim's mentality or that funk of being a victim rather than a victor. And so I want to talk to you in regards to that. And as I always do, I've already shared with you the resource. I always like to go to a resource that's reliable. That's just outside of, they don't know me, I don't know them, and see if what they're saying kind of aligns with what I've already believed. And so I say that to say this: everything that I'm getting ready to share with you this morning is already in you. You already have all of this in you. And it's just that you have to remind yourself, you have to do that self-talk with yourself. When you're getting a little off kilter, you have to be the one to reel yourself in. Sometimes there are going to be times in which there's no one there to encourage you. There's no one to reach out to. How do you train yourself to encourage yourself? And these are one of the ways, through self-awareness. You got to be aware of yourself. You got to be able to know yourself well enough to see when you're getting ready to go down on a path you don't want to go down on. And also to recognize, just not recognizing the bad things, but you also want to recognize the good things that you're doing. So you also want to be able to recognize when you have shifted from that victim's mentality. You want to be able to see when you're going into the victor's mentality. And so some of the areas by which this is addicted to success. Are you a victor or victim? 12 signs to have the victim mentality. 12 signs showing you that you have the victim's mentality. And so I want to kind of go through the list. I'm going to kind of probably use this for the rest of the month. We have 2 more weeks. I'm probably going to stay in this for the 2 more weeks so that we can kind of break it down and really get into it. So the first sign that's showing that you're in a victim's mentality is self-loathing. When you're feeling bad about yourself and woe is me, and and you're looking at and then number 2 is you're looking at past regrets, which is something that I don't do. I don't have a tendency. If I'm looking at my past, I'm looking at gaining wisdom from what has happened. I'm looking at lessons learned from what has happened. And whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I always have a tendency to embrace
my past, never to look at it from a place of regrets, but a place of growth. And so it's also, where are you looking at? And if you followed me long enough, you'll see that when, I always refer to this: are you looking at the glass half empty or half full? And so it's always about that perspective. So if you're looking at the glass half empty, you're looking at it from a victim's perspective, right? Like you don't have enough, and you're looking at it from that perspective. But you're looking at the glass half full, you're looking at it from a place of optimism. You're looking at it from a place of gratitude and I can do it. You're looking at it from a victor's mentality. So you have to check that. You have to train your thinking. That's why it's important for you to be self-aware, because then you'll know that you're thinking. Self-awareness will put you in a place where you know that you're thinking this way. You're conscious of it. And then where you're trying to change and transform is where you are self-developing. So you're taking yourself from this position and you're taking yourself to a better position. So that self-development where you begin to intentionally, strategically, and on purpose retrain your thinking to think in a more positive way. And so number one is self-loathing, when you're feeling bad for yourself and having a pity party. Number two is looking at your past with regrets instead of looking at them from a place of growth. Three is comparing your achievements to others. Don't do that. You are you. And you should be focusing all of your energies on what it is that you want to accomplish. When you see runners running, they don't look back. They don't look at their competition. They are focused, they're tunnel focused on moving ahead. Why? Because when you look back, it slows down your momentum. You want to be able to keep moving forward. When you look at someone else, it gets you off guard. And remember, the month of April is all about focus. Where is your focus at? And so you don't want to focus on other people's achievements, because you got so many achievements of your own that you need to have all your energy, all your drive and focus needs to be on what you want to achieve to ensure that you achieve them. When you are not, number four is you're not happy with your own success. That's because you're too busy looking at everybody else's success. You're not able to see the value of your success. You're not able to sit down and look at where you were and where you are today. And I had a friend share with me many, many years ago. He said to me, Marisa, always celebrate even your smallest achievements, because they are leading you to your greatness. And so the number five is you become withdrawn. Well, listen, if you feel bad and you're having a pity party and you're looking at your past with regrets, you're comparing yourself with others who may have a different resource than you do. You don't know how they achieved their goals. You don't know if they cheated, if they went through, if it was just handed to them. You don't know how people are achieving their goals. And if you're not happy about your own success, you are going to become withdrawn, because you don't think you can compete. You don't think that you have what it takes. And so as a result of that, you have a tendency to draw back and draw away from everybody, because shame sets in. You start to feel ashamed. Then you get mad. So now you feel ashamed. Now you've done withdrawn from everybody. And number seven says, number six says you start to place blame. You're blaming other people. You're blaming everything that has happened on everyone but yourself. And the whole foundation of Own It is about owning it. Own your good, your bad, your ugly, and your indifferent. You want to own it all. The minute you own it and take responsibility, then and only then can you start to develop it. Then and only then can you start turning things around, because you're not in denial. You have owned it, and now you want to address it. And so you have to own it. See yourself, so it says number seven, you see yourself as a failure. So that's why you're blaming everybody else. And then you come to sobriety. This is feeling like a failure. It's kind of like owning it. It's beginning to say, well, I had some role in it. And you're taking ownership of the failure, but you're not understanding that whatever it is that you've gone through can help you so that you can turn that disappointment around and make it a success. You can learn from that. That's the SWOT analysis. What's your strength? Out of all of this, you should know what's your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you need to surround yourself, be intentional about beginning to surround yourself around folks who will speak to your weaknesses and cause them to be stronger and help you develop in those areas, applaud you for your strengths. They can help you take a threat and give you a different perspective and making that threat now an opportunity. So it's around who are you surrounding yourself with. So when you go through that withdrawn state, it's like, okay, you need help. You need folks that come around you that will support you and bring you up. And we're welcome to have you in the Own It family. We love supporting you. We love lifting you up. And so number 8 is you are unable to forgive. Watch your heart in all of this, because unforgiveness is a matter of the heart. And if you get upset, if you do the self-loathing pity party, and you're looking at regrets, and you're comparing yourself to others and not seeing yourself as a winner among the competition, and you're not celebrating your happiness, you become withdrawn, placing blame. All of that goes to your heart. It becomes a heart issue. And when it becomes a heart issue and the heart is aching, it's angry, it's upset, and it doesn't want to forgive. Anywhere in these first 6 to 7 areas of having a victim's mentality, if you see who is to blame for this, if you had identified, pegged, or pinned someone down for having the blame of this, you are going to not forgive them. You're going to feel like it's their fault. You're going to blame them, and you're going to be unable to forgive. Well, what happens to you when you are in a place of unforgiveness? When you're in a place of unforgiveness, you are now holding yourself hostage. Now you have to be angry. Now you have to be mad. Now you have to justify the unforgiveness. You have to justify the position. But when you let people go, you are the bigger person. Whether they ever to say sorry to you or not, forgiveness is not about them. It's about your freedom from them, so that you are no longer captive to having to remember what they did, to have to hold on to that bad memory. Because if you're operating in unforgiveness, it means you don't like what was done to you. So you have to hold on to that bad memory in a way that is tied to you emotionally. And so when you forgive people, you just let them go. You let them go and you live. And how is the best way to get folks back? Is living your best life, living your life. So when they look up, you happy. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't move on to whatever they did to you. If it was really something that they did wrong, because there's 2 parts to every story, right? So if there's really something that they did wrong, they don't care enough to be worried about where you are right now if they did it. They're going on with their lives. They're justifying their happiness. They're going on with their lives. And moving on, but you are stuck in a place of captivity if you don't forgive. So you want to do that. And when you don't forgive, number 9, we're moving to number 9, you become angry and bitter. You have to be angry and bitter not to forgive, because forgiveness is associated with joy. I'm happy, bye, I'm out of here, peace, I'm out of here. So you have to become bitter and angry, and that's going to further isolate you. No one wants to be around misery. Misery loves company, but company does not love misery. We having a jam, we do not want your negativity. We don't want it. We don't want to hear about it. No one wants to hear about your problems, because everybody's got problems of their own. So you want to make sure that you don't allow yourself to get to a place of anger and bitterness by just forgiving. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And if you're a praying person, then pray it out of you. Ask the Lord to help you release that person, release that situation, and restore you. To restore your heart, your emotions, and everything else. And it's number 10 is not caring about your appearance. See, what happens when you get to a low place, you first of all, you're withdrawn. So that means you're staying home, you're not going out. So then there's no need for you to get dressed or you to get dressed up. So you're not getting dressed up. There's no need to get dressed up. So now you're no longer caring for yourself. It's easier. You ain't doing your hair. You're just flopping your hair up. And if you got to go out, you're just going out real quick. So you just throw on your slippers or whatever, get what you got to go get and get back home. And you're not caring about yourself. But when you're not caring about yourself, all the things that you had planned on. Now we're talking about, this is the month of April. So now everything that you had started off the year saying that you were going to do now comes to nothing. So all your desires, all your goals, and all the things that you wanted to get accomplished this year, because we always do it, whether you're officially doing a New Year's resolution or not, you're still always, thinking about something that you want to do. Well, now you blow all of that to the wind because you're in a state of hopelessness. So you stop caring about what you do. And you take rejection hard. You take it very, very personally, even though it's not personal. Sometimes when someone doesn't want to do something with you or doesn't want to be with you, it's not you, so to speak, but sometimes it's them. It's what they desire. They have a preference. They have something specific that they would prefer, rather than so you're taking the rejection very personally, and it's not meant to be personal. It's just the no. And so you take it harder when you're in a victim's mindset. And then you no longer take risks. So you're not trying to be out there. You're not trying anything new. You're just staying in that current state of mind. And that's why it's so important for you to not start down this. Don't do the self-loathing. Tell yourself, listen, hey, things happen. Things happen. Dust yourself off and get back up. You are worth fighting for. You are worth having a good life. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, life is going to, how does it say it? Life will throw you, give you lemons, make lemonade, make the best of what you have. Start afresh, start anew. There's so much out there for you to do, and counteract this. So I kind of introduced to you all these areas of victim mentalities. You have the resource, so you can read it over, glance it over. But I want to go in next week. I want to go in more in depth of what is self-loathing, and how do we get to that place, and then how do we come up out of that. One of the things to do is to examine yourself. So within the next week, from now to next week, I want you to begin to just be conscious of what you're saying to yourself, to be conscious of these 12 signs that you are in a victim's mentality instead of a victor's mentality. Because we're at the first quarter of the year. You have time to turn things around. You have time to take hold of this year and own it, and get to a community. Get yourself engulfed in a community that it thinks in alignment with positivity, uplifting, that celebrates. You're going to have to change your scenery. Sometimes you just got to change your scenery. You got to take it somewhere else. I often talk to folks, and they're always talking about, oftentimes people who want to do great things happen to be the minority. Right. So when you think about someone, if you're that person who feels like you were born into doing something great, guess what? You're a leader. And if you really think about it and put it all in context, usually there's one leader and everybody else is the follower. So you're not going to be in a large company of people who are going to think like you, because you're actually the leader. So you need people, you need a multitude of people to believe in what you're saying, so that they can help you and come alongside of you and help you with your vision and mission. But remember, you're a leader. The way that you're going to be sharpened is not by those people who don't think on a leadership level. You're going to be sharpened by other individuals who think like leaders, that are leaders. And so you want to get yourself surrounded by other leaders, other individuals who are thinking and want to be great. Um, it doesn't matter what level you want to be great at, but you want to make sure that if you want to be happy, like the song says, if you want to be happy, you really, really, really have to surround yourself with people who think and are happy like that. Or you're going to have to really work yourself out of the rut um, of, of feeling like a victim and get to a place where you are so happy that you now become the source of happiness for those who you come around. So I'm either saying to you this, either you're going to be the one who brings happiness, or you're the one who's going to be around happiness that's going to bring you the happiness. But this is a time to now start to do the assessing of yourself and saying, where am I? And what is it that I really want to do? And how am I going to surround myself with people who are going to think like me, and not think like you exactly, but think like we got to be great. Think in consistency with you, on the same vein of positivity. You're going to have to surround yourself with positive thinking people. And then you're going to have to start doing this self-evaluation work that's required. Everything that you need to transform your life is inside of you. You have to be conscious of that, and you have to be strategic, and you have to be intentional about what it is that you want to do. And I'm not talking about starting your own business. I'm not talking about running, going up the corporate ladder, or any kind of achievement like that. I'm just talking about simply a peace of mind. Because this doesn't necessarily have to mean that you are going to strive for greatness. Sometimes this is just having a peace of mind, just being able to say, I'm good with just me. I'm happy with me. The things that I've gone through, the ups and downs. Hey, that was a part of life, because life happens. I talk to people all the time that life happens. It's how you allow it to impact you long term. Temporarily, yeah, sometimes we are the victims by our choices, our decisions, the things that we say and do. It's our choices that lead us up to some of the things that we get into that we're not happy about. But we have to own that. We can't blame other people that we've gotten into this. What we do have to do is say, how do I get out of it? And how do I learn from it so that I don't repeat it? And if I do repeat it, how do I look at it in a different way and see where I'm continuing to fall short and ending up into the same pattern of behavior and decision making? And so I'm saying to you, you deserve to be happy. And you're not a victim. You are a victor. You just have to start thinking like one, doing the self-talk, and becoming aware of how you are interpreting and perceiving things. And so I'm excited. That we're on this journey together. This is Motivational Moments with Marisa, Monday Motivational Moments with Marisa. Now I'm situated and settled. I will see you again next Monday on Motivational Moments, and we will continue down the same path, the same article. So look in the comments, see the article, check it out. Even if you feel like, oh, this isn't me, I don't need this, I think you should read it, because it's very, very good article, and we all do self-loathing. None of these things on here have we not tapped into. It's just we have done it at different levels. So some of us have done it a lot. Some of us have done it a little. Some of us have done it here and there. But we've all done some level of some of what's on here. And so what it is if we want to walk in a place of, healthy mental health, wellness, mind, body, and spirit, we have to become very, very conscious of how we're seeing things and how we're processing things that we're going through, and how we want to maintain our motivation and self-care. Self-care. You do not want to get to the point where you're walking around looking like who did it and ran. We don't want to let anything get us to that point. We always want to be able to make sure that we have a balance in our life. And so anyway, without further ado, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week on Motivation and Movements with Marisa. And have an incredible week. Have an incredible week and begin to start seeing the cup half full, not half empty. I'm out.